Hello, everybody. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, 5th of June, and it's time for our spiritual light conversation. And today, Elsa is with us, which is a pleasure to have her with us. I'm very glad she could squeeze a time here in her agenda. And today's topic is emancipation of the soul. Emancipation of the soul. So, let's give our welcome to Elsa. Good evening, my dear. How are you?
I am very, very happy to be here once again, Stevan, because sometimes I'm missing so much our lives, the Wednesday, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. London time, and now here in Brazil is 5 p.m. But when I saw the title, the theme for tonight, something came to my mind from 4 years ago, and I will tell you later for everyone. Thank you all for being with us today.
Good, good. Miss Gibbons, how are you, my dear?
Hello, hello. I'm very well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here again with you and a different topic today, but really important. And many people talk about it and think about it. It's one of the most talked about subject in psychology, of course, dreams and uh, sleep and all that kind of thing. So it'll be really interesting if everybody participate, ask questions and join us. And I would like very much to say hello to everyone who watches us, maybe not today, but afterwards. It's always nice to meet you sometimes. Please continue watching us and participating. So, boa tarde a todos, boa noite, um grande abraço a todos vocês. E mais uma vez estamos aqui juntos e hoje nós vamos falar sobre sonhos, emancipação da alma, que é um assunto extremamente falado, muito estudado em psicologia. Então participem, façam parte com a gente. E um grande abraço. Prazer estar com todos vocês e a Elsa também, excepcionalmente, e o Charles and Stevan, that we seem to carry the courage. So lovely to see you all.
Good, good. Thank you, my dear. Bonsoir, SARS.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Again, very happy to be with you as every week, and today especially with our sister Elsa, to talk about different subjects. Don't hesitate to propose some subject, to submit your suggestions. And today we selected to talk about the emancipation of the soul, which is one of the elements which is proving one of the evidences that we have something more than just a physical body.
Good, thank you. Okay, let's play our video here. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Is dreams and why we dream. We all dream. Dreams are a normal part of sleep. But what exactly are dreams? And what role do they play in our lives? Dreams are a series of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that occur in the mind during sleep. Dreams can be pleasant, exciting, or even horrifying. You may dream about things that happened to you in the past, or things that are happening in your life right now. Dreams can also be about things that have never happened to you before. Most dreams occur during the REM, rapid eye movement, stage of sleep. This is when your brain is most active, and you may have several dreams each night, but you usually only remember the dreams that occur during REM sleep. Why do we dream? Until now, researchers don't know exactly why we dream, but there are some theories. Some researchers suggest that dreams are a way for your brain to process information. Dreams can help you work through problems or sort out your feelings about something that is. can also be a way for your brain to practice what you have learned. For example, if you're learning to ride a bike, you may dream about riding a bike. So some researchers think that dreams help your brain store information without any distractions. Another theory is that dreams train your fight or flight response, which is the state your body goes into when faced with stressful or frightening situations. That is because when you dream, one of the most active areas of your brain is the amygdala, which is responsible for this fight or flight response. Now let's talk about nightmares. So what are nightmares? And why do we have them? Nightmares are dreams that are scary or upsetting. You may dream that you're being chased, that you're in danger, or that something bad is going to happen to you. If you have a nightmare, you may wake up feeling scared or upset. Nightmares can be caused by stress, anxiety, or other emotional problems. While nightmares can be upsetting, they are a normal and important part of our psychological makeup. They can help us comfort our fears and anxieties in a safe and controlled environment. But if you are having a lot of nightmares and they are causing you significant distress or interfering with your daily life, then talk to your doctor. You may end up having a sleep disorder.
Thank you for watching our video.
Okay, so very technical video, and now we're gonna unify this technical video with our spiritism knowledge here. For those who are familiar with spiritism and already read the Spirit's book, chapter 8, question 400 onwards, you will see that dreaming, when we're sleeping, our spirit don't sleep as well. They are free to go somewhere. This could be somewhere good, somewhere bad. It depends your vibration, depends how you are feeling, how you are acting. Depends how is your list or your debt list from your previous life. So we don't know if some debtors will come to chase you for the repayment, or if you are evolved enough, you are invited to help superior spirits in missions, in tasks.
Yeah.
So it's could be a lot of ifs, but let's talk about it more in depth. And let's start. Let's start with you, Charles. So, my friend, why the emancipation of soul is so important for our development, spiritual
Oh,
development and moral development?
yes. So it's interesting the video we showed at the beginning, because it's trying to give explanation from the physical body or the operation of the brain itself, huh? For the dream, which is the subject of that video. But the spiritist body of knowledge, which is following the spiritualist paradigm, is having much more complementary information about the reason for the dreams. And as the title of of the subject today is saying, it's a phenomenon of emancipation of the soul. So first, it's talking about the soul, so clearly the spiritualist paradigm. And the second is emancipation. So what means emancipation? It's a word which sounds a little bit complicated, but it's simply when our soul is getting some liberty and able to have manifestations which are out of the normal conscious state. Okay. So dream is really the most known one because every night we go asleep. Some people never remember about dreams, but even though they had dreams, as we have seen in the video, some other people from time to time are, or some other even systematically are remembering the dreams. And these dreams have often a strong sense of reality for the dreamer. Okay, sometimes you can have dreams like dreaming from your mother or your father who passed away already, that you met him, you talked with him or her, and so on. And it has a strong feeling of like if it would really have been the case. And the Spiritist body of knowledge is teaching, yes, often it has really been the case. Means during the sleep, when our soul gets free from our physical body temporarily, it goes back to somehow to the spiritual world where it can meet other spirits which are there, maybe also during a dream for people who are still incarnated, or even persons which passed away already, which are in the spiritual world. So Spiritist body of knowledge is clearly saying it's often the dreams are corresponding to some real situations that we have lived during these moments of sleep, during these moments of emancipation of the soul. And then, of course, the dream is not the only one. Emancipation of the soul, you have several other type. You have, for instance, the mediumistic trance is also emancipation of the soul. You have somnambulism, which was very commented in the 19th century, a little bit less nowadays. Somnambulism, which can be natural or provoked by magnetism. You have also cases of ecstasies of some person all along the history talking about. You have second sight or double sight, which is also one form of emancipation of the soul. And what Spiritist body of knowledge is really bringing, these phenomena are somehow demonstrating, yes, we have a soul. This, the fact that every night we sleep, that every night our soul gets free, is a daily experience of every one of us here on the earth. So very simple phenomenon which push for this spiritualist paradigm, spiritualist hypothesis. Of course, one can always try to explain it only by materialistic explanation, looking which area of the brain is activated during the dreams, and so on, and relating it to some cerebral activities during the sleep, where at different phases and so on. But of course, these explanations are not enough to explain some situations like when you dream something that you don't know and that after cross-checking is real, or also, for instance, how do you say that in English? Premonitory dreams, is it correct? You dream from something that will happen in the future, which has
premeditated dreams.
Okay, which is very low probability and which ends up unexpectedly happening. So, and you dreamt, you have dreamed about it quite some time before. So this cannot be explained just by chemical reactions in the brain. It is showing that there is a brighter view somewhere during the dreams, which can be better explained by the hypothesis of the soul. There is let's say a kind of a modern phenomenon also, which can also be categorized now with the emancipation of the soul. These are the near-death experiences. during a near-death experience, the physical body is not operating anymore. It stops. Even in those cases, the EEG is sometimes flat or flattening, with very low or almost no activity in the brain anymore. Then the person can be reanimated, go back to life and a conscient state, and remembers a lot of things that happening during that period where the brain was not operating anymore. I mean, a lot of you can find sources everywhere. Like for instance, Eben Alexander, who was a neuro brain surgeon himself, and who saw all this imagery of the period where he was with meningitis, where his brain was absolutely not operating. And he came to the clear conclusion that the conscience cannot be the result of the brain. So it's another case of emancipation of the soul, modern cases, since Raymond Moody in the 1970s, which is also one of the evidences in favor of the spiritualist paradigm, and can be explained through the hypothesis of, yes, we have a brain, yes, we have something else in ourselves on top of the physical body.
Great. That's a good one. And my dear Gibbons, so now Charles told us the importance of the dream for our moral and spiritual evolution. What happened? Those dreams, like those dreams, we have a premonization,
Premonition.
premonition, premonition dreams. Is that premonition dreams a kind of alert for ourselves,
A
or
kind of what? I beg your pardon?
alert,
Alert. Oh, okay.
heads up? It is a heads up for us how confident, or how we can trust in those dreams. Because we know a lot of people. Oh, I dream with my mom, so somebody gonna die in our family, or someone near me gonna die, and at the end someone die. I told you so. Or I dream with whatever, and someone gonna get pregnant here. So this type of dreams, or even those books. There is a lot, plenty of books selling, like unveiling the dreams or something like this.
Finding
So
the meaning, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. So you dream with a snake. Oh, something bad gonna happen to you. You dream with dogs. Oh, you win the lottery. All the yeah.
Well, I mean, people use dreams for all sorts of things. What number is going to be in the lotto? If everybody knew that, would be,
If someone dream, please share with me.
yeah. I think one of dreams, even if you don't remember them, we all have dreams every night, because our spirit moves out of the body. The body needs the rest, but the spirit doesn't. It's very active. It's always active. And sometimes we go to the past. Our spirit, of course, we continuously connect with the physical body, but there is a kind of freedom that the soul can have, that the spirit has, when your body needs the rest. And sometimes our spirit will travel to the past and will travel to the future. There are, it's undeniable, there are many premonition and people who have dreams that are things that are going to happen, and they turn up to be, of course, there is lots of people, like the examples you were giving, that they think, oh, something's going to happen, something's going to die, and people get very scared. I think those kind of premonition dreams that they, they sell something that's very tragic, that's going to happen, are very rare and far between. I don't think that many people have those kind of dreams. But I think within our own lifetimes, sometimes our own experience, sometimes we do have premonition dreams, not huge and everything, but sometimes it does. So we need to be very careful because like you said, just saying, oh, something is going to happen, and then something happens. Oh yes, because I dreamt about it. I think I was reading about this man in America who had a dream of a plane crash, and he didn't say anything because he thought people would think he was crazy. He was mad and he would have problems. And he didn't say anything. And then there was a plane crash and many people died. I think everyone died. And then he felt really bad, very guilty. But I think he had tried to communicate it to someone, but people didn't really like, and they thought probably he had put a bomb in the plane or something. And he felt really, really bad about that because he felt that he could have done more. But I think this is very difficult because how can you know, when it's going to happen, unless you had the name and the time and everything is very difficult. So some people do have a lot of premonition dreams, and usually is all to do with very disasters and terrible things, and must be extremely painful for the person because like that man, there is very little you can do. What can you say if anything, if people are going to be believed? But I mean, we do it because our spirit, we can go forward and see things in our own lifetimes and go. I think one of the most interesting things that we need really to be aware of is that our spirit's almost, not completely, but it's almost free. It's the nearest thing that we have. I think Paul the Apostle said that we die every night, because when we sleep, it's like we're free from our bodies and we go out to do things. And it depends on each person. We sometimes go to the spiritual world, we stay, and most people, like Andrea Luis says, most people will stay around their own worries, their day-to-day lives. They will stay by the body. It depends on the level, the spiritual level and the moral level of the person. So he says that, sometimes an artist, for instance, when he's sleeping, he goes back to the work that he's doing. A mother, usually she'll come close and stay close to her children that she takes care of, and they depend on her. So in many times we stay around our own worries, our day-to-day worries, and sometimes our dreams reflect that. Dreams can be, as I said, can be a warning, but also as a person develops spiritually, their dreams become more and more relevant in a way, because then you meet the spirits. It's quite common actually to go and work in the spiritual world, and when they go there, they have classes, they go to learn, they meet the superior spirits, although sometimes like Rodrigo says, like a child, but we can go, we can have things, and we can start doing work in the spiritual world and even finish and completing work, or maybe doing it, and when we are discarnated, we go and finish the work we started even during our lifetimes. But this is a different kind of dreams, and that we may have memories or just pieces of, because of course once we come into a physical body, sometimes part of it's will be forgotten, but that we have as well, when we have problem or you have a lot of difficulties, sometimes we go, I think Charles mentioned something about meeting your family, people, that you loved and loved you, who already returned to the spiritual world. And if we have a problem or something very difficult that's happening in our lives and we feel very isolated, or you don't feel you can talk to other people about it, it's quite common that we can go and, our families, a member of our families can come and talk to us, give us some advice, give us some support. And I always remember something that Paul McCartney said in an interview, when he wrote that song, Let It Be. It was a time of, great difficulty in his life. The group was breaking up. There was a lot of unpleasantness. And he said he had dreamt that his mother came to, and he remembered his mother talking to him. And she said to him, let it be, just let it be. And, be, being Paul McCartney, he could put his dreams into a music, and it's a wonderful song. But if you read the words of the song, it's really interesting. And I think this is an example, and I'm sure he probably is not aware of it even, but of someone who cares for you come and give you advice in a time of need. And we all have that. If we could think about our own dreams, our own times in our lives, we have this kind of things. We may not remember even the dream, but we come out, we wake up in the morning. I don't know if it ever happened to, it might have, but you go to bed and you're so concerned and you're so worried. It takes time to get sleep, but then you wake up in the morning like you have an answer, like you're feeling really well, when you're feeling that you can solve the problem, that the problem is not that big a problem as you had. You come out in the morning feeling really well, and I'm sure that's the time that a friend, member of your family, a friend from the spiritual world came and helped you and gave you ideas and things like that. So it's very, very important to pay attention in our dreams. And like Jung always recommended that you would leave a piece of paper, a book or a notebook or a pencil, and even before you got up, you wrote down your dreams, what you remember, because of course once you get up, you start living, you forget, but you keep that thing in your mind. And there is so many solutions as well that comes through dreams. So in a way, it helps us, and if we really paid attention to it, our lives would be much easier, because also it's a way for us to cleanse some of our problems, some of our difficulties, and having solutions. There is a tribe, actually, a group of people in the island of Samoa, the Samoa Islands. I don't know if they still do that, but I went to this lecture, and they said the people in this village, they wake up in the morning, everybody goes to the center of the village, and they tell each other their dreams. Everything before they do anything, they go and they talk. I dreamed this and I dreamed that, I was hunting, and everybody talk. And it's one of the places where people have no problems, like any depression or anything, because everybody knows each other's dreams and they help them. and and I think that's important. We cannot do, we don't have a village to have a friend, but at least we can have a notebook and write down our dreams, because then we can have quite a lot of help and solution for our lives. Not sure if I completely answered the question, but there's so much more to talk, because it's a fascinating subject, and it's one that each and every one of us, no matter who we are, and even those people say, oh, I don't remember dreams ever, they do dream. So
Oh, yeah, you answer the question. Yes. So, my dear Elsa, wrap up all this salad we make here. What's your thoughts about this emancipation of soul?
First, I love it. because spirits never sleep and the spirits never die. So we are immortal beings. We are interconnecting the two worlds every day, every night, 24/7. So we are here to learn, incarnated in a physical body during the day, or sleeping. As mentioned before, we can meet our relatives that are already in spiritual world. We can meet friends, incarnated ones that are in the same symphony, probably working together, learning together. But there is something very important to prepare before going to bed, before going to sleep, is preparing ourselves. Even Silvia said, we can prepare ourselves for die, because we don't know if we will wake up in the body next morning or later on. If we prepare ourselves with a good prayer or reading one chapter, one paragraph of the gospel or the messages, books, Emmanuel, Joanna de Angelis, soft books, not books as I read before and I couldn't sleep at all, from Manuel Filomeno de Miranda. I think was Obsession, something like that. I was so curious to continue. So after that, I decided to only sleep with a prayer and prepare myself. So, as I said before in the introductory moment, when I said I will tell you something later, yes, 4 years ago, I was sleeping. I slept all night very well. And I woke up in the morning with some idea in my mind so clear that this idea didn't come from me, came from the benefactors from the spiritual world, where perhaps I had the opportunity to stay for a while and learn something. And it was in the pandemic time. The pandemic was very aggressive that time. And I wrote it to Charles, or we spoke, I think we spoke on the phone, and I said, Charles, what do you think to have a live every week and blah, blah, blah. So we decided more or less the next spiritual light, invited Stevan, Nadja, Silvia, and Rodrigo, and others, and we created this. But for sure, it's not something that we invented. We have the responsibility to carry on, because if one person listen, watch, and put in practice, or go and find the Spirit's book free on kardecpedia.something.com or .org, and you can find all the Kardec books. You can find the Spirit's book in PDF. You can learn a lot of things with connection between books. And this chapter, particularly chapter 8, is amazing, because all our curiosities regarding static trance, second sight, lethargy and catalepsy, apparent death, somnambulism, and more, transmission of thought, etc. Everything is there, starting with question number 400. If you are curious, as I am, go to the Spirit's book and start there, knowing more, and take advantage for the freedom of your soul goes everywhere and learn everywhere, depending of our free will, which side we would like to go, right or left, etc. We can decide to learn, we can decide to search, we can decide to study. In all the Spiritist center in the world, they are free of charge, and you have loads of things to learn there, meetings, studies, lectures. You have everything. It's a university of our souls. So we can prepare ourselves for a better life, not jumping like that. No one go to the primary school to the university without going year after year to the right level for your education. So we have this education for free. It's a spiritual education for life. It's a psychology of life. Learning these kind of things, we can have a group discussion. We can teach others, and we can learn with others. That is the freedom, the beauty of our lives here. So I think I am I am passionate for the Spiritism, really. I love it so much. And I love so much to be here with you all after for a while that I was out of here. But time to time, if you allow me, I will be with you all. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's see the comments here. We do have comments. So Liz Costa is with us. Good evening, Liz. Rita de Casa Fernandes. Gilson da Gama. He said, we are constantly receiving help from the invisible world. We are never alone, as promised by the Divine Master, even when awaking and mostly when our bodies are in deep sleep. Um, let
One
me
thing, Stevan,
see.
that is happening with me now, that if I put in practice, I can share with others. For example, for a while this year, have a lot of problems to solve, different problems, hard problems, etc. I always pray during the before sleeping, if it's possible, the benefactors helping me to clarify my mind and to have an insight or even idea which kind of things I can do to be a better day for next day or better resolve the problem. This happen. We can because they are helping us 24/7. The benefactors are around us always depend on us. It's our turn to go to them, to ask humbly, with a humble heart, to them to help us. And they never, never let us alone, never let us without helping, even if it's not exactly what we want. So if we can use this in our daily life, we can use it. It's not something that only other or mediums can do. No, ordinary people as me can do this. Depend of us, not be humble and not be proud or selfishness, etc.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, we said previously, um, everything is regarding to our symphony, our how we are tuning, and I have people coming to me saying, okay, even though I do my prayers, I try to keep good thoughts, blah blah blah. They are keeping having nightmares, problems while they're sleeping. Uh, do you think this is kind of a problem with their previous life or their behavior? Because I can pray at night before I go to bed, but during the day I'm a nasty person, you know. So, and we just listen one part of the story. So, what do you think, my dear Silvia?
Well, I mean, Charles hasn't spoken at all for a long time, so I don't know if you want to answer this one
I
because
started, Sylvia, but okay. So You're right, Stevan. I mean, basically, what would you say, for instance, our soul is incarnated in our body. So we can even say it's like the body is like a prison for the soul. And during night, when we sleep, it gets free for that period of the sleep. And as it has been very well explained, our soul can go to the places for which it is in affinity, for which to get some help or to get some advices from the mentor and so on, particularly if the person itself prepared itself before going to sleep or at the moment of going to sleep, making a prayer and asking the opportunity to get some advices from the mentors. Now, this is, we see the good aspect of the things. Sometimes we have problems, we have huge concerns during our wake state. And or maybe we have also some difficulties to keep tuned with a higher spirituality, having sometimes some bad thoughts or things like that. And in this case, the law of affinity makes such that during the sleep period, we go to places which are maybe not so good, not so kind, not so convenient, which are heavier, and this can then result into nightmares. Sometimes also, it must be said, for the dream particularly, some dreams are completely, how to say, they don't have so strong reality. It's a kind of fantasy or oniric dreams, which can also be generated by mixture of several perceptions we have, and even some biochemical reaction which are happening in our brain and which can be measured during the sleep through the apparatus which are available nowadays. So everything is linked to the law of affinity. If we are tuned to negative situations, we might have some dreams which are also negative. If we are tuned to some more positive or some more optimistic situations, it's the opposite which is happening. And nowadays, you see, with all what we see in the world, like the wars, a lot of violence and problems and threats and whatever, and natural catastrophes like flooding and so on, this can also impress us and influence also the dreams we will have, which can result from the impressions we got during our wake state. Even sometimes not in a conscient manner, it can be subliminal or another type of influence that we get. And this was quite well explained in the video. So everything is not always spiritual, as some things are sometimes also very well explained by the science, even with searching for material causes. But I got also aware that I did not answer properly to your first question you made me, and I think Silvia answered. So the fact that our soul gets free from time to time is, of course, helping us. We can follow courses during the sleep. We can have some training. We can get advices. We can, for instance, when we are in a difficult situation during our conscious state, we can get some relief during the dream, getting some new energy and so on. So yes, this emancipation of the soul, which occurs naturally every night to every one of us, has a huge function in our emotional stability and in our evolution.
Yeah, I think it's very important, because it's interesting how sometimes people don't quite understand, but I'm sure there is an experience that almost everybody has. If you worked hard or you've been doing a lot of things and you're tired and your body physically you're quite tired and your head is heavy, um, if you just sit down just sit down and sort of relax your body a little bit, and if you close your eyes for a few seconds, immediately you start having a lot of images. It means that your spirit is already disconnected from your body and is already seeing other things out there. So, you are absolutely conscious that you're not sleeping, but you have a feeling that you're somewhere else because the spirit, just wants to get rid of the body. Although, while we are incarnated, and we have, when we sleep, we have a lot of freedom. My spirit can move out quite quickly and go even to other planets and everything, go out into the universe. And it depends, of course, on the level of the spirits and everything that are incarnate. We're not completely disconnected. Our body is always connected because we have that, what in English is called the silver cord, that connection between our spirit and our physical body. So even though we have quite a lot of freedom, but we're still restricted, because if our spirit would go anywhere and would be stuck or whatever, we would die, because then our body would be disconnected from our spirit, and wouldn't be a good idea. But it's very interesting. I think Elsa wrote something. Do vivid dreams a consequence of the emancipation of the soul? Absolutely. We're meeting with people, and I'm sure everyone must have had dreams. I remember having dreams that I was working. I had, quite a few dreams that I was in a spiritual world working. Those were the days. And I also had a vivid dream that I was in a class. There were hundreds, thousands of people. It was like a huge, like the Coliseum, that kind of, it wasn't the Coliseum, but it was that kind. And I was really right at the top, very, very far away, but I was there. And I met someone, and, as I came down. But so, we do have dreams, and we do. There is a sort of this very famous Indian mathematician. He's kind of a genius, and he was in England. He studied in Cambridge, and he used to have dreams with a goddess. I forgot now the name of the goddess, but he said in his dreams she would work with him in the calculations. He was in England 1920s. I will remember his name, and I'll put, because it was very interesting. And he said he used to dream with this goddess, and she used to help him do all the calculations. And he's one of the greatest mathematicians of the 20th century, so there is a lot of things now we're still using his calculus, and so it's very, very important. And there is a story. We have, in the Bible, we have the dreams of Jacob, Jacob's ladder, and we have the famous dream of Joseph in Egypt, that he was able to decipher the dreams of the Pharaoh, and he became, minister. And underneath the Pharaoh, he was one of the most important men in Egypt, because of, he was able to decipher the dreams. And I'm sure people know, but the Pharaoh kept having these dreams every night, that he would see huge, big, fat cows, and really healthy and beautiful, and then there would be very thin cows and would eat the big ones, and no one could decipher. And somebody said, oh, this man, he was in prison, he's a slave, and he could decipher my dream because the cook, I think it was the cook of the pharaoh, was in prison for a while, and because of he did the dream. So, and he said, oh, he's there. So the pharaoh called him, and he deciphered the dreams. That would be 7 years of abundance, and 7 years of lean and terrible problems. And he was able to reserve food. And around that time, Egypt was the only country where people did not starve, because they did all the preparations. And actually it was a big thing, because he took all the things from the priests and he said, so everybody could eat. So, they are very, very famous dream. And I don't know if we have a lot of time, but that is also a very, very famous dream of this man who actually was one of the great fighters for freedom of slaves. And I mean, everybody knows the music, Amazing Grace. He wrote that after having a dream. And it was very interesting, but I don't know if I have time to tell the dream now he had. And it was interesting because afterwards, after having this dream, he became an abolitionist, and he returned the ships that he was in, because of course he was never traveling with them, but by that time he was, and he had this dream that something came out of the water, and a hand, he gave him a ring. And I said, this is for you to keep. And of course, then another voice said, no, throw it away, it's no good. And he threw it away back into the sea. And as soon as he did, he realized that he had made a terrible mistake, that he had given something that God had given him. But then later on, and, it develops, but maybe I'll tell the whole dream another time. But that was very important, because it was a total transformation of someone who used to sell slaves, buy slaves, sell slaves, become one of the greatest abolitionists on earth, and was able to write that song that everybody says, and he says, Amazing Grace, that with a soul like me. So so there are many, many important dreams, and it really shows to us that even the small dreams that we have are very important for our lives. We need to pay attention to it, and maybe we're having spiritual lessons and a lot of things. So it's always fascinating.
This is how important we have someone with knowledge in our group. She knows all these dreams.
Sorry, I have a lot of.
Thank you. Let me see what Gilson said to us. We are actually spirit having a time in a body. So when we set free during sleep time, we tend to return to experiences we have had even from previous lives, or go to new learning experiences. Everything depends on our tendencies and wishes. Rita Di Cassia. During our sleep, we can get the connection with our mentors, getting advices and preparing ourselves with our lives here. Stephen quotes, it's great to have discovered this broadcast. Early this year, my wife and I discovered that we had been communicating with one another during our sleep. So, this idea is further confirmation for us that these things do happen. In fact, discovering Spiritism has been further confirmation for us in a lot of things this way.
Yes, I think one of the things that Cassia said, we meet our mentors and spiritual benefactors, we meet members of our family, as we said before, but I think Charles made a point that is very, very important to be reminded, for us to remind ourselves of. We go where our concerns are. So a person who is dedicated to committing crime, he go and meet those people, some people go to mentors and other people go to we go wherever our mind is.
That's parties,
Yeah. And there is so many things. Maybe we could have another session on dreams as well, because there is quite a lot to to discover on the subject, especially the way Spiritism explains it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe we could have another time as well.
Yeah. And Stephen, I highly recommend you to go to Spirit's book, Question for 100. Um, let me put it here, the online copy here for you. This is going to give you an excellent background in supporting what we are talking about here today. But yes, we can connect. And as Silvia said, uh, we connect with what we are not worried, but what we are tuning at that time. That's our connection. Yeah, Elsa, you are so
Our,
quiet.
I was about to say that our treasure is where our heart, we put our heart. So it depends of us. We can choose where we can go, depending on how we prepare ourselves, the connection that we have with the benefactors, the spiritual side. We are immersed because they are here, come and go. A lot of spirits around us. Depending of us, we can go and sleep well and have a nice dreams and bring in the morning new ideas. Oh, I had a dream. Okay, we had a dream. But if we prepare ourselves, we can meet our benefactors. We can meet our, I said before, someone, I think Silvia mentioned the one that was writing. So I'd like to say thank you, Stevan, for everything here. Thank you for the spiritual benefactors to help us every day as a good father, good mother, helping us. They are around us, giving support of us. But most of the time, we are blind. We cannot hear properly because our syntony, our level of vibration, doesn't allow them really to give us more support. But they are there for us.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Wrap up message, my dear friend Charles.
Yes, this is exactly about it, and I think we will go quite soon. Huh? It's quite late here in our latitudes, and really, I mean, it's this period where we get back to the freedom, where we get back to our real world, which is the spiritual world. We get a relief, a permission to go out of this physical body in order to go and seek the energy we need for the next day and also to fulfill our missions. So thanks God, yes, we have this resource of emancipation of the soul naturally, not needing to be medium or whatever, every night when we go asleep. And even if we don't remember consciently, it remains, the impression remains as an intuition. Because to come into the conscience, it's a little bit more complicated.
Mhm.
It requires some. When we remember, when we wake up, we must write it down in order to mark physically in our brain to get the memory. Otherwise, if we don't write it down, sometimes after a couple of minutes, we don't remember anymore. It disappears from our conscience. Nevertheless, it stays into our subconscious. So thanks a lot for this opportunity today. Thanks also, Silvia, you, Stevan, and Elsa for enabling this work to be done. And thanks
Thank
also
you
to all
all.
the listeners.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So let me share our announcements here. And
Yeah, and I think we should give a welcome to Stevan. If you have any questions, just write, come And we try to answer your questions. Welcome you to him and his wife.
Yeah, we are here, Stevan, every Wednesday,
And
9
Nadja as
p.m.
well.
London time.
Yes. And have a good week, everyone.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Yeah,
God bless you all.
let me share.
Stevan has not yet made the announcements.
Yeah, I'm sharing. 1 second. There you go. So next week, 12th of June, we will talk about what happens to the soul after death. What happens to the soul after death? Our Spiritism X 2024 is right in the corner.
Nenê,
So
isso não acredita,
please
bebê.
go to the kardec.org.uk
Você
group.
não comeu todo o teu almoço,
You will
por quê?
have all your
Só
details.
tinha-
You have all your details regarding location, what's the agenda, so everything you need to know. It's 2 days, so oh no, why is not? Oh, okay. And they also have a kind of film festival together with the event. Our series of Camille from Marion is still going on. Read the Spiritism magazine and keep listening Kardec Radio.
This coming Sunday, Stevan, this coming Sunday, 3 p.m. Brazil time, 7 p.m. London time, Rafael from the UK will give a lecture about Camille Flammarion. I think haunted houses.
Okay, haunted houses. Okay. Once you have the folder, please share with me.
I will.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all. Nice to have you all here. Enjoy your night. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Luviem. Thank you, Egilson. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Rita Di Cassia. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. Great discussion, great participation. I'm very happy when we have all these people questioning, putting their comments. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.